The United States saw a steep rise in violent crime in 2020, and the murder rate continued to rise in 2021. That's a tragedy for the victims and a reversal of an earlier trend of crime reduction that lasted for many years beginning in the early 1990s. The rise has also made crime a hot political issue in a way that it was not even 5 years ago, and it's Republicans who are benefiting. In some ways, there's nothing new about that. Way back in 1988, Democratic presidential nominee Michael Dukakis lost heavily, having once held a large polling lead. A series of attacks on Dukakis has been soft on crime were blamed, even if those tactics were themselves controversial, including the now infamous Willie Horton ad. But the issue of crime continues to bedevil the Democrats. A September poll from ABC News and the Washington Post found that among registered voters, Republicans were more trusted than Democrats by 22 points on crime. Then there's also the Defund the Police slogan, which even many Democrats acknowledge has been counterproductive. The slogan first gained wide prominence after the murder of George Floyd by Derek Chauvin, a Minneapolis police officer, in 2020. But if the need for police reform seemed obvious to a huge swathe of Americans at that time, the merits of defund the police were far less clear. President Biden has insisted that the solution is to fund, not defund the police.
The answer is not to defund our police departments. It's to fund our police and give them all the tools they need, training and foundation and partners and protectors that our communities need.
But even so, Republicans have used the slogan to paint the Democrats as radical. There are more specific examples too, including in two of the most crucial races in this year's midterms. Those races are in Wisconsin and in Pennsylvania. In Wisconsin, Democrat Mandela Barnes, the state's lieutenant governor, is trying to unseat incumbent Republican Senator Ron Johnson. In Pennsylvania, Democrat John Fetterman, another lieutenant governor, is hoping to defeat Republican Mehmet Oz. In Wisconsin, Barnes's opposition to cash bail and his desire to reduce the prison population have become big issues. Johnson has blasted him as being dangerously liberal on crime, while the National Republican Party has sent out emails with subject lines like 9 times Mandela Barnes called for emptying prisons. In Pennsylvania, Fetterman also casts himself as a criminal justice reformer. There has been an upsurge in commutations by the state's Board of Pardons during Fetterman's time as its chairman. Oz and his allies have, in response, created a website, Inmates for Fetterman, that lists some of the criminals for whom the Democrat has advocated commutation. The effects are plain. Fetterman's lead in the Real Clear Politics average has been roughly halved since mid-August, from about 8 points to 4. And in Wisconsin, the situation is even starker. A 5-point lead for Barnes has been transformed into a 3-point lead for Johnson. The GOP's attacks on the Democrats over crime are controversial. Some see a racial subtext to some of those attacks, especially against Mandela Barnes, who is black. Democrats believe they can beat back the jabs, but right now, crime is clearly having a big political impact.